Chapter 15, page 394. The silver BMW rocked as Corner jerked the back door open and slid inside. "Well, ain't this nice? All of us back together, princess." He pushed the .45 under his coat. "Let me just say right off, I've been under a lot of strain lately. People say I haven't been myself. You guys understand, don't you?" "Do we have a choice?" Christina asked. "No, so I'll cut to the chase. But first, your pistola there, sister. Thank you very much. Does anyone know the score? What's going down here? I don't know whether to shit or go blind. It's a new game, moment to moment. If you're waiting for a call, no signal penetrates the upper stories of the pyramid. We'll have to mosey on over there." "You're scaring us with your big gun," Moore replied. Corner reached out and clubbed him with the butt of Christina's .22. Blood trickled from a split above his eye. Christina tried to reach inside her jacket as Corner pinned her arms to the seat. Moore barely flinched, his body already numb from the shock of wounded knee and the cocaine coursing his nerves. A gut laugh rolled out. "Y'all can't hurt the darkness in her eye, everybody. Hermit, baby cakes? She be so y'all over you, man. She feasting on your grits as we all turn into her out of her wise speak in the first place. Answer me this, my Nubian. First, what the frack dis man speak? Second, why? Why is black pussy so pink on the inside?" Corner groaned as he groped her for other weapons. He dragged the barrel of the .38 he found across her breast, pressing it against her throat. "I don't know what is the bigger turn on, killing or fucking you. Want to find out?" Then Corner backed off with a heh-heh. Still, why provoke a psycho coming out off his meds? Then again, Moore realized just how twisted Psycho liked it. Daughter of Kalima, Corner, son of the bitches, Moore mused. Cowards always hide behind big guns and big mouths, or little boys with bad potty training, Christina added. He sprang up with the barrel pushing into her flesh. Moore huddled against the door, semi-conscious, head thrown against the glass, mouth open, trying to gather his wits. Gather the beast of man. Best of the kill or be killed beast. Moore knew the beast in her eye. He had conquered fear, the first natural enemy of a man aspiring to be un hombre de conocimiento. Moore now found himself besieged by his own clarity, the second natural enemy of a man of knowledge. The clarity of his mind, or why now bust out? Try something new. Canoe, baby. Him and her eyes are lapping the sides of that canoe. In her eye of everybody his. Ma's a body, facial lines relaxed. The demons released. Somewhere over a hot sack's rift, Corner's voice broke his reverie. "You got spunk, I like it. More fight to whip on." Corner dragged his teeth along the side of her neck. "Get in gear, I'll bust your boyfriend's other knee." "Okay, Clint. Is that your best, Dirty Harry?" Christina asked, stretching her throat. Moore backed off with a belly laugh. "Damn women. Hell no, that ain't my best. I mean, who do you think taught that Hollywood punk how to play that role in the first place, yeah? But seriously, I haven't hurt anybody in over 5 minutes. I'm starting to get a migraine here." Moore stirred as Christina put the car in gear. As though from a greater distance he watched people on the street, insulated in their roles, streaming by in that singular current of business for pleasure. Corner's appearance put a bad taste in his mouth like rancid meat. He stuffed the Altoids tin in his jacket. No sense giving anything away. How was he supposed to feel about an old friend who shot him? Twice. He shifted his attention back to the street. Christina could kick his ass better than he anyway. Christina? Now there was an enigma. Somehow he felt sure she could hold her own. She packed more punch, he thought, touching his cheek. She could bring it. Christina eased the BMW to Clay Street towards the pyramid. Street-level businesses glowed from neon Chinese characters. Streetlights perched on iron-facing heads of twin dragons, whose tails, curled into a caduceus, stood above parked cars, catching blobs of their light. On the corner of Kearney and Clay, they passed the Buddha Bar with its glowing martini glass. Still one of Moore's favorite signs. Buddha Martini. 4 men gathered at the entrance paid no heed to a bleeding man waving from a beamer, passing by washed in pink neon. They crossed Kearney and the eastern edge of Chinatown. They were near the original Bay Harbor shoreline at the base of Telegraph Hill. 30-foot tall concrete vents, like the stacks of a giant steamer, rumbled, giving off a mist drifting over the south entryway between the pyramid and the street. The steady hum of pumps wafting clouds of mist gave the impression the building breathed, exhaling clouds of moisture. Still more could sense the rawness of this place. Once torchlit cobbled streets, come in on hard by the bay, the original docks of the bay. On his periphery he saw a saw of gold kerosene lamplight, diffused by canvas sailcloth walls. Liquor, guns, gooch, and greed. Darkness down by bay water lapping wooden ships, roped to rickety docks. Thick hemp lines groaning off creosoted pilings. Horses, shod hooves, clattering on cobblestones. Page 396. No gas power, first steam. City air then always heavy with horse manure stench and coal smoke. Let's get it on, Moore mumbled. Bang a gun, spill some guts, violate some women. The darkness has fallen. Throwing a card game, tequila and cocaine. Speaking of which, ain't that my satchel? Fawn Ray must have copped the coke when she grabbed your taser. Speaking of which, how was that? Quite shocking? Moore gave with a guffaw. Curled my grits. But then, hell, I shot her old man. I mean, the son of a bitchin' Injun fuck and his pit bulls could be hard on a man like me. But I'm going to tell you both here and now that to kill a man and keep your juju together, you got to realize it ain't me pulling the trigger. The one who pulls that trigger is completely free from judgment, free from guilt. That means for or against anybody, even flesh and blood. Y'all getting the drift here? So, what you're saying is you're psychotic and probably a repressed homosexual. Moore couldn't resist himself once he started digging on the man. Go back to your stupid fucking visions, Painter, Corner snarled as Christina muffled a laugh. I'll take care of the desk jockeys. Drop me off around the corner. Meet me back at the entrance to the underground parking garage around on Washington, Corner said as he rifled through the satchel. He gave Moore a cold stare through the rearview mirror. They circled a stand of landscaped redwoods bordering the east side where trees formed a park that extended the pyramid's block. Corner slipped from the vehicle into the shadows of the redwoods. Tufts of fog drifted in, tearing up through streets and alleys. Are you still with me, Dark? Christina asked. Takes more than a cheap shot from Soldier Boy. I've had worse. He buzzed down the window, spitting out a clot of mucus and blood. The game is playing itself out. We need him to get us into the building. I can feel the last act going down. There's the entrance. They turned the northeast corner. Concrete legs and buttresses framed the ramp with a tunnel of receding triangles. Below them, a waist-high steel barrier, painted red with "Stop" in white block letters, barred the entrance. A security man approached the car. He walked easily in spit-polished black shoes, starched white shirt, and trimmed mustache. He reached for his shoulder mic as Corner stepped forward, shooting the man in the chest close range with the Quisanda's .22, catching the guard's weight as he fell. More caught Corner's pallor, revealing the strain of them pulling another trigger. Mr. Warren is all about a psycho power out in her eyes. That is precisely as Mr. Warren instructed me in that a YI dialectic. In that I am not surprised that you now know it as well. After all is said and done, he did engineer you. He commands you, yet is at your command. Appearing of it anybody or anything, merely appearing it here, gazing it here out in her eyes, a supernatural goddess, say, of everybody has thoughts of her emit, as king of it, why, a la queen, K and K of that in which it appears as X, y'all. Otten, edding, e-ways, a while of denial of it now, in toward a twisting in twoe, any knowing out ABC's information of words. She now watched Greg Keaton's face for the sign. Christina was curious to what degree Rick Keaton found himself in the dialectic. As revealing it at attention, did Rick Keaton realize he was at it as awareness in our eye, all captured here, out in her eyes, I on a psi-hole as cosmic memory of a being still in the first place? Our eye, insight, knew indeed even from of old, or was he merely playing her, using the dialectic as a means of betrayal, she now wondered. Mr. Warren always spoke of any informing of it out in her eyes, the eyes of Ma's nature, the eyes of everybody, our ideating awareness of a being seen now as Mother Nature, inward nature of him it. He would say it makes no sense without her eye on him in a head, appearing and gazing it from above as below, of a being freestanding status, appearing and gazing it out below, now out of him in her, me as thoughts of it. Beside whole eyes, appearing and gazing it, appearing, why out as X, y'all, out of any or everybody. Create it for yourself. Rick Keaton's voice broke through Christina's awareness of a being invisibility, our rave ray. She now found herself turned to a screen he indicated with a wave of his hand. Warren's words scrolled continuously on wall size. Sound waves of her, me as Ma's, everybody, our ideating her eye. A wave as their eye emotion. In her eye, a being lack mere glistening sea, reflected out in a word mind or why me memory microwaving at black around as though inward information. That was how he spoke of her electromagnetic eye zapping of Eve Ray body. A being seen, indivisible, invisibility, complete. Perceived arcing of it, why are ideating, perceiving potential form as cos microwave like around radiation. That always brought him around to you. You appear now in his eye to be out in her eyes, appearing of it in the flesh. Rick Keaton seemed to stretch in time as her eyes focusing back on the screen. The mirror-wide dynamic as y'all, of it being seen, appearing and gazing it out, appearing in that mirror, see as a being seen still, indivisible, invisibility by mirror or why, a being now y'all form as appearing of it by a being y'all now reflecting reflection as though so preternaturally as thoughts of a god, as say to be letterly, y'all, mirrored in words any thoughts of a YI Zion being seen now superimposed. as X radiating her ray black as microwave mirror see as anybody turning, churning, yearning, burning, a black around of it the waves of her mana. Now in her eyes a way of ray mirror black body, asking of it why are ideating a knowing my or a go motion of any mirror why now function turning as to a twisting information. Any information a while now of DNA. Any information a while now of DNA. A denial spiraling a black around echo so personically as cause your body, causal darkness now to be turning into the knowing, projecting a being beaming as cosmic day, to why now light igniting ignorance of it. My moment, to momentum in any event of our eyes, eye on it, still it being now a knowing out of it in her eyes of everybody. Out in her eyes a wave ray as any information of a virgin mother. Virtual virgin potential, immaculately our eye remaining still, mirror potential. Mirror or potential. Page 398. A Eve potential, ever potential, conceiving any matter mirrorly, why now as X function, appearing of it in mirrored potential emerging a while in formas living energy of her psi matrix, why death womb doorway ray as zany psi Mr. Warren realized all sight and sound to be echoing, mirrored at attention now, microwaves reflecting at background in the great over eyes, ion of man as mind, memory, overstanding, understanding of existing, as explaining a being seen now, flattened out a while. A background which I confused at first with the cosmic microwave background of the Big Bang. Mr. Warren frowned from you. Why are you an awareness of a cosmic microwave black around? Wave ray body indivisible from anybody. Anybody, apparently Eve ray body, appears out of it our eye reflecting echo of it. A background body echoing, knowing out of it any or Eve ray body, appearing out information. That is the dialectic vision he developed from you. In the evenings, he listened to tapes of your lectures. Rick Eaton nodded back to the screen, scrolling Warren's screed. That mind memory, her Eve ray black mirror seen as a body of the dynamic behind your form as a attention being creation a while of DNA. Hence, any destruction of it in form still merely mirrored potential appearing out of or disappearing instantaneously back into a singular black invisibility of any individual still at attention, a being in the first place any mirrored y'all now as knowing, projecting out of it information still here out in her eyes, zapping ting a singular indivisible invisibility appearing, gazing it so preternaturally as zany thoughts appearing of it any day now, the wide light igniting ignorance of it as so Personic thoughts projecting out in her eyes, zapping of everybody. Final liberation for Mr. Warren just meant playing the right verse. In the or why, mind reflects any inward thoughts of a mind or why memory now as existing information. Get it? Your words. The indivisible invisibility of any individual now appearing, turning out of a knowing denial of it a while. Appearing of it as in word thoughts of ABC's information of it. The 7 tones you are hearing are those which affect, by sympathetic vibration, the 7 interior stars or nerve or glandular centers in the human body transmitting chemicals as thought. Information, transformed emotionally into chemicals more powerful than any to be had on the market, Rick Keaton said. Warren said, your inward thoughts, expressing it out, issuing forth echoing sound vibrations of your genetically engineered vocal cords, brought out his poetic side. He saw you as a fury wiping out the petrochemical pharmaceutical complex he helped build. He engineered you as Kali Ma's mass to destroy the corporate chemical body of his spawning. He kept a diary of him as experiencing your inward mind memory, along with recordings that reduced the syntax of your dialogue into tonal patterns. These patterns, he claimed, would resonate with those 7 neuronic cellular energy centers of anybody here out in her eyes, zapping of that everybody, liberating all that matters a while, information of any knowing denial, a letterize, alright, turning back into awareness in the word freedom of a being seen still, formless, indivisible invisibility now as zany black around energy, emitting information out of her eyes of everybody, a wide eye as any psi-hole energy of quantum gravity wait, just as y'all it, waiting to be free, still in a word freedom. Freedom of awareness of a being seen yet in the first place. Still in disappearing back into that black, radiant, glistening body of evil, here out in her eye, R-ideating, perceiving a wave or a body, a will be found as any mirrored, why now you now with intent of appearing again and again and again until breaking open any inward why now loop by desire for it to happen. Without that desire for why I being appearing and gazing it from above instilled inwardly, y'all must fail drawing out attention from the idea. A wave ray as existing information. Virus or not, or why not? And of course, you read his diary. Christina replied, feeling ambiguous about Warren's pirating her words. Years of teaching self-realization instilled in her awareness that success or failure centered around desire. Hair fire desire, hair trigger response to being reminded of a being seen that still in a word freedom in the first place. Strangely and sadly, she found this desire of a being seen lacking out possibilities of obtaining it, realizing it in a word freedom. Awareness of a being seen appearing it merely, appearing of it mirrored from attention inward captivity out in the or why. My dear Miss Shaughnessy, this grand design has now passed to me. I had to take certain liberties. His research on the genetic haplotype markers of an ascent of ancient Arishi's order is literally so personically earth-shaking. Mr. Warren connected the right dots, foreseeing a major rift opening in the or why order of the day. Of any day, do I now light igniting opportunity of a 3,300 years old inward mystery to open up out in toward an untwisting information. Mr. Warren claimed the energy released by this a untwisting would destroy or unravel the inward universe of a being seen as ABCs of a so-personic plan etting heareth. We all in turning into or out of a black around by now appear a pair, a knowing projecting out the cosmic DNA while light ignition is a spark of ignorance. Of now knowing out of it, denial of complete completion. The arcness, now to be perceived arcing of it, why? Christina chuckled at Rakitin's quick slide into the dialectic. That Russian mind, drawn to the dialectic debate, betraying any information of it as the sheer deadly folly of it. A being seen now appearing of it information a while, still merely supernaturally, y'all, by the psycho power as any thoughts of it. A great God, to say to be literally, y'all, as existing out in toward her eyes, a psycho inward formation. Information, baby, of a by a name she now mused, divine as sword toward cutting the cord, as any thoughts of a God to say to be a Y-I as existing, appearing, gazing out in toward a twisting, into a information of a denial of it, as information to be perceived now as anybody or any measly mere order why thinking of it yet, asking of it why we all as any thoughts turn into or out of projecting it so personically as any inward consensus, sensing appearing of it out information in a why I in denial as exodus of a being seen now out duplicated, informized cosmic memory in a word, a being seen divine yet in a blink I we all turning, yearning, churning, burning out of it now, a being lack, going around, still asking of it why, a knowing out of it, a ending, a curvance occurring out in word information, a why I appearing, a gazing it out information of DNA of a denial, now a knowing code of a being seen, appearing it, gazing it yet in a word freedom, freestanding status still in the first place. In her words, she now found his words. Mr. Warren made me repeat the dialectic word for word till its inward order was precise. He told that order of ABCs came directly out of mouths of monotheistic priests' divination of a being seen still in the first place, now in form as a knowing, turning, knowing out of it the first time. Now, a being seen out in ABC's cubic time machine. Page 400. Egyptian time, never lost, broken, passing away, or dying out, according to Mr. Warren. Their long-term memory in ABCs of a being seen still in the first place perpetuates itself. A, still asking of it, why now? A why I oughtn't at attention, captive a while in ABC's subtle cosmic counterpart body, accessible by the initiated in order to perceive any period of 3D time. ABCs being so personic, supernatural 3D cube of space in time now a while, superimposed in toward a turning out of it, here in her eyes, leap into a black around, arcing of it a why now, as Ka now, turning, knowing, projecting out of it any or everybody, a wave ray, glistening body, glistening of, to, for, from, etc., itself. Their order is always A, being still in the first place. A, being seen in word in any mirrored information of it. A, denial. In a cubic space in time now, a while still, asking of it, why a la queen. Now, the ancient rift in the order comes between a why eye of a being seen merely appearing it, gazing it, or as anybody of a being seen now appearing of it out in words, phonographic alpha beta information, a tetragrammatically designed understanding the spelling of ABCs. Enchantment inwardly all turning into or out of a black around as any supersonic, supernatural thoughts of it are ideating, perceiving out in her eyes of everybody. The eyes eye on everybody as attention in toward a singular twist of fate. Fake function of funny action, deny, of a being still that indivisible invisibility of any individual singular, so personic expressing. You are good, Steppen. Y'all mind that I'm calling you your first name? Christina asked with a frown. As I told you, Mr. Warren was very precise about the transmission of the ancient tetragrammaton code, which turns out to be any river passing back into any sea as our ABCs, of it being seen now out in toward informing it in her eyes, ion mirror sees, in her eyes appearing, gazing it out into a glistening black mirror inward sea as tender mercies of death, of noon, of a being now not, a being seen now a while out, appearing, disappearing, yet in her eyes, ion of everybody radiating our ideating, a wave ray as perceiving of it out in her eyes, ion mirage, echoing, mirroring it as any glistening black around a wave ray eyes, ray iotin. By now, ray body, by now, our eye as a wave function of funny action. In that I am observing Mr. Warren with as close as he came to a smile. The industrial is passing away out of a psycho power into the joker. Christina watched Rakitin's energy gather as he recalled with a certain precision the wise words of his employer. Christina had felt it as well during a lecture, felt her sense of a being seen drowned in the flood of the great, overstanding, effulgent bliss, of a being disappearing in a singular singularity, word freedom awareness still merely mirrored, appearing of it information as thoughts of flowing out in a wide eye, merely appearing and gazing it then, now, a while a being beaming it out as existing information and name alone. She found herself striding so personically as thoughts to the precipice, the edge of allegedly now turning as now knowing, projecting, falling as leap back into black indivisible invisibility of any individual. Rakitin's voice found her eyes at attention of a being seen it still. Now out a while in her eyes, ion one black around, glistening echo in toward that twisting, turning into a one, as ka now, knowing out, turning eyes on one black around, as any appearing of it out information. A white eye appearing and gazing it superimposed as X's. As sexisting out information with intent of fulfilling destiny wherever it may lead. She put a finger to her lips, signaling Rakitan to follow Warren inward, scrolling overhead. Fascinated by Warren's appropriating the Y dialectic, seduced her curiosity. After y'all, realization of any situation, still liberation, she now mused. A being still in the first place, indefinite article, particularly any A now YI being seen mirroring a being Y now y'all now defined in word as any thoughts of it, a being out mirrored inwardly y'all now defined definitely as the definite defined article. Any thinking of it articulated often as possible, a 10. A by now RI, by now Ray radiating, turning into knowing, projecting out thoughts of its so personic sound, vigorous wave ray as mean medium memory, informaz eve ray as ideating, perceiving out inward information of it now a glistening black around potential as ka now knowing out of it any or everybody as existing A's being still in the first place now knowing out of it as thoughts a being now a black around instilled with intent of intentional disregard of a being still complete a being complete now out toward a twisting into information appearing of it as tatwamasi sas pani that we all will in one direction tower the Bible now dissolved DSA solved struck enlightenment one mono, the one indefinite article, articulated or jointed, ended, as it were now knowing synapse as hermit, fire ism, or why memory of a being still in the first place. A being seen, appearing and gazing is still in the first place of a singular indivisible invisibility of any individual, merely mirrored, appearing of it out information in name alone. Any individual now with a definite intent articulated by ignoring knowing projections of a mirrored being, still merely potential appearing of it inward as sound, thoughts reflecting, echoing supernaturally its own microwaves out in her eyes, a black around echo radiating supersonic glistening sound waves of E-ray body, a background. That's why I experienced inwardly, y'all, now turning into it as black around mind, or why memory, as though now as thoughts, information as two, appearing intoward appearing in one twist. A twisting information, turning we all into a cosmic karmic wheel. A will of us willing it into any word, consensus, mirage. A con of senses, sensing a being still in the first place, now out of it as thoughts, as any illusion of appearing information by a mere or why memory, mere orage, superimposed by a being now outspoken as existing while denial. That macro micro zinging as singularity as cosmic twist of denial projects energy with quantum gravity weight of waiting with intent of intentionally disregarding a being still indivisible invisibility immortal of any A now Y individual. Christina reflected on his paraphrasing of her teaching. The double entendre, the loopy gravity weight of waiting on death, as here out in her eyes of everybody turning a black around instilling wishing, a being seen again. Again and again and again after any gain she found herself at a loss, as though stepping off the ledge of allegedly a fall. Allegedly a fall into turning now, knowing out of it, projecting one into falling black as leap over it here out in her eyes of Eve entering information into 1 hours of our horizon, her eyes on a being still in the first place. Annie A and Y heading in toward one black beside whole mirror glistening seas, now appearing, disappearing on the other side. Appearing again with a loss. Appearing again with a loss. Appearing without, within, disappearing, y'all, in words. Disappearing, merely as thoughts of ignoring herself for himself for itself. Now still a being indivisible with invisibility. Page 402. In a flash, Christina realized, still, a being yet in the first place now, asking of it why, as Ka now turning into or out of knowing, denial of that indivisible invisibility of any a now why I stare I way of ivre as one in toward the eye star I as appearing and gazing it out in toward information of it, yet only a while now. That versus the many, many theories or verses of anybody knowing or denying it out by being as sound, I listening, hearing a while, DNA now denial of it in toward a twisting into X, editing out with intent of a playing out roles of a being as though otherwise, as existing information of name, memory alone. Indivisible invisibility here out in her eyes, continuing. A con, continuing today. Rakitan's vocal tonal patterns, synced with a solfeggio tonal pattern playing from overhead speakers. She flashed on them as the voice of the pyramid, overhead, over mind, or why, always or a why I, appearing and gazing it now a time or two, she mused, at attention picked back up on Rakitan's voice. The Aten priest, monotheist, arising, and with the sun, banish all other gods or stars a while in the cosmic day. Do I now light with its ascending ivre body as thoughts of anybody? The Atum priests also worship the sun in word, but as it now, as those sets. As Set the Destroyer, turning the world black around into a complete de-arc of that diurnal cycle and essay, and the polytheistic gods I stare I ways to a why I stare I yes, appearing in the glistening mirror blacknessy sear out in her eyes, mas cause everybody, ideating, perceiving information with intent of it being seen now again, invisibility of a black around, no, knowing, projecting out of it, denial of a being seen, as though in word, thoughts appearing of any as existing. Rakitan concluded by nodding once more to Warren's screed. His eyes gave her the relentless fire of zealotry, the Russian ardor for an ideology, the wide-eye to perceive, arcing of it out in word, awareness of a being still in the first place now seen, dying to perceive it out a while, its still indivisible invisibility of a wide eye appearing and gazing it out as any thoughts. A hook, the look, y'all now, inward knowing, projecting information as thoughts of a being seen now, supernaturally, so personically superimposed by phonographic ABCs, still just us. Of how much longing a while is really needed to appear of it. Christina, fully aware of it being seen in her eyes, appearing and gazing it out, merely mirrored in memory, generating a knowing out of it as any inward appearing of it by the black around glistening, beside whole power of a being lack, as zapping intent of a being again, and again. A while information in a wide eye of hermit, appearing and gazing it from above as below, we all may turn on purpose. Purpose at attention in the word freedom, freestanding status, deliberation of it. A wide eye of any man, with or without womb, as mind or memory of a being seen now, anybody or anything, inward information still. Iha na na nasti kim chana. Indivisible invisibility. Iha here. Na na nasti. It is na na naive rai. Indivisible invisibility. She blinked with the interface from Comrade Rakitin's mind. Warren obviously taught him well. It suddenly seemed all too clear. Clarity she knew to be the second obstacle of a man's mind memory remembering liberation. Clarity quenches the fire of questioning. Questioning of a wide eye appearing it of it, information, anybody, or anything, any thinking, imagine. Now, out of a clear mind, a knowing of it without that nagging, gagging doubt of it. Doubt of a why I, of that I am, me or you, still merely appearing, gazing it. Any information of it turning into or out of a black around of it is a while of it being seen, glistening again, moment after moment, a mirrored inward despicable deceit of now turning out of it a knowing information of a being, still free, indivisible invisibility of a un consciousness must not yield to that mesmerizing enchantment inward imagining in formaz of it as a make-believe point of power out before her eyes, a Ire body, black body, indivisible, she flashed. Understand a God to be one go, essay to be overstanding I, stare I, wave from above as below, out in toward a twisting into information while denial. Any I being creation as thoughts out in her eyes, of Ivre eyes, mere glistening sea as sheer wave ray, radiant funny action function, merely mere or reflecting it out as though inwardly, y'all, I, a will, we all, as existing in toward a being seen now out in her eyes.